So Jeff sent us an email with an article that says it's called "The Trend of Co-Living."
Yeah, co-living.
Co-living.
Living somewhere with someone else.
He pointed out that there may already be a term for that.
Let's go back just a teeny tiny bit real quick, just to I mean, it may seem stupid to get mad about this, but and forgive my voice this week. I've been sick for about a week, so
Yeah.
whether the voice irritates you or makes you moist because it's super sexy. This is just what I'm going to sound like today.
It sounds like you should be like introducing like a soul like song or something.
Like a record.
Yeah, like putting on it.
Here comes Peebo Bryson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So basically, I'm gonna just kind of read a little bit of the quote here. Where sharing common living spaces was once the prerogative of student residences and retirement homes, the trend now extends to young professionals, families, and baby boomers. These new means of accommodation offer to bring people with the same lifestyle, objectives, and or values together in the same residence. Each has their own space, but some rooms are shared. A village atmosphere is created where community spirit and solidarity are central. It's another real millennial innovation from the generation who are always rewriting the rules of the game. Could co-living be the new way to get by? Fuck you. That's the first thing I thought was, what the fuck? The fact they used the word millennial innovation, and we're going to give credit to the entire generation of millennials for rewriting things. It's called roommates. It's called living somewhere and sharing a common space, but having your own room.
you know what they did reinvent? Jerking themselves off. They're really good at that. I guess we are really good at that.
Well, you know what? Yes, every once in a while I will toot my horn over something stupid, but I'm not saying I'm rewriting history.
Yeah.
Three's Company existed before most of the millennials were born.
Yeah.
So they shared a common area.
So that's having a roommate, basically.
Yeah.
That's what the article is about.
They're trying really hard to go, yeah, but it creates a village because there's shared business space and there's shared... No, you're a fucking roommate. If you live under one roof and you share a common area and you each have your own bedroom, that's a fucking roommate.
Well, let's see what they're trying to go for. I guess the parts that like make it different is that like they pool their resources. Apparently, like maybe they like everyone puts a certain amount of their income into groceries or something like that, rather than just buying your own. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to
do that with my roommates.
Trying to see their justification for calling it something different.
Like one of us would have a Costco membership, and we'd be like, hey, like, can we use your Costco membership? Let's all just chip in money and go buy things that we're all going to share.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I would realize how innovative we had been being. We were. I don't know.
Yeah.
My brain's still mush, but.
Yeah.
The other part of it is if you want to extend past it being roommates and you really want to be fancy, it's basically a commune. You're basically living in a fucking like.
There's a bunch of different words for
that already exist.
That already exists.
And co-living already existed too. It's just nobody uses it because it's a fucking dumb bullshit made up fucking word.
But it's like a trigger, not a trigger word. It's a what's it called? Like a hot word.
Dude, yeah, that's
what millennials are great at, and even like the term millennials is like a hot.
Is it super lit, fam? God.
Why would
that physically hurt me to say those words?
So obviously you hate millennials more than I do, I guess.
I hate millennials, or do I hate the
just
grouping
like
of people?
What about the term and like the connotation like makes you so angry?
I don't think it's not that. It's so people tend to use millennial usually in a negative way, where they try to go like, oh, the millennials. But then it's like, okay, if you're going to lump us all together, don't be a stupid fucking millennial and say that we invented a new fucking form of living. Because then all you're doing is adding credence to the argument that millennials are a worthless piece of shit generation.
So you're saying there's a lot of like all of the stupid things that they have done.
I'm not saying anything.
It's an umbrella term for all of the stupid things.
I'm saying I hate the people who lump us all together, and I hate the people who lump me or who do stupid things that I'm lumped into.
I think it's really. Didn't we talk about this? It's stupid to name generations in general, because like one whole generation doesn't really mean, the only thing that it means is that they all grew up in the same time. But what does that have to do with anything?
It doesn't.
They're completely different from one another.
It's about as stupid as those Facebook videos where it's like, are you a 90s kid? Here's 9 things from your childhood.
It should be more about cities. Like people from different cities are usually like cut from the same, like, what's the term? Cut from the same
Cloth?
Sure.
That's
like,
what it's cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, cut from the same cloth. Well, you said it like you were questioning it. Like that makes more sense. Like Seattleites are much different than San Franciscans or San Diegans. I just wanted to do that.
Well, you're just getting into like tribalism at this point.
Well, it just makes more sense in generations because like I guess it made sense when like an entire generation of young men went to war in the 40s. That made sense.
Yeah.
But like that's not how the world is working.
Oh no, now it's a giant generation of young men living at home until they're 30. So in that way, we've made our own bed in our mom's house, and now we get to sleep in it.
No, our mom made our bed in her house. Welcome to episode 34 of the Unreasonably Angry podcast. My name's Gary.
My name is Eric.
And how are you fuckers doing tonight? We've heard a lot of like reviews and feedback about our podcast where like they'll go, "Oh wow, it didn't take long to get to the curse words."
No.
And that makes me think you don't listen to podcasts that much, or you just listen to like news ones or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm trying to think of like
podcasting is notorious for its uncensorship.
Well, that's the whole uncensorship.
Yeah, uncensored.
Just terrific.
Non-censored. What did you want me to say?
Lack of censorship, maybe?
Lack of censorship. Yeah.
No, but you're right. I can think of like, I think Bill Burr starts most of his out with like, fuck, and then ends most of it with
a
punts.
lot. Yeah, and worse words than we say. Yeah, so we got past our millennial venting of the day.
Ish.
Yeah. Let's just jump right into this. So if you've heard a few of our episodes, we've had our friend Carlos on, and he is a huge fan of DC Comics. I would say he's a bigger fan of DC than Marvel.
He's a big fan of Batman.
Yeah, Batman.
Like, the thing is like, if
he likes Superman too, I think.
No.
More than we would.
Oh, I don't like Superman at all, really.
I hate Superman.
I think he's worthless. But
if he even just mildly cares about him, then
I know for a fact he has a gigantic Batman boner. Like,
yeah,
he said he has a Batman onesie. He said he was going to send us a picture to put on our page, and he hasn't yet. So
yeah,
he's welched on one agreement already. So
he was a big defender of Batman versus Superman.
Wrongfully so.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. Okay. We've talked about that.
I like how you always worry that we're repeating things we've already talked about. It's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is people in here are gonna go, "Oh yeah, that was 22 episodes ago. That was awesome."
Yeah, thank you for listening for that long. So when the Justice League trailer came out, like way back in the spring, I looked at it and I went, "Wow, that's going to be a steaming pile of shit."
Yep.
And Carlos looked at it and for some reason said, "I disagree.
It's going to be awesome."
I was
like,
what?
"No, it's not."
Okay. And it's like, and one of the, I don't know if he made this argument, but I've heard it a lot, is, what about Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman was great. Like,
it was.
Yeah, it was. But you need more than one movie to steer the steaming pile of shit train that DCU is onto the right tracks.
Well,
and that director was, an anomaly. Like, she's not Zack Snyder. So when you have Zack Snyder, who, if you don't know, he started working on this movie, and sadly his daughter tragically committed suicide, and he had to get it off the production, and Joss Whedon took over for a while. So a lot of people have been talking about they don't know how much of the movie is Zack Snyder's vision and how much of it is Joss Whedon's. And a lot of people are saying like the funny parts, like the one-liners and stuff, are very Joss Whedon, and then the jumbled mess parts are probably Zack Snyder.
See, I hear people say that. I personally don't think Joss Whedon's as great as everybody makes him out to be. I think he gets way too much fucking credit.
He's definitely overrated. He's great at what he does, but he's definitely overrated. Like, I've heard people liken him to like a god tier director.
Well, people tend to put him in the same category as J.J. Abrams. Like, when I hear those two compared, like, I hear it a lot. And I think a lot of people just have some weird nostalgia for Buffy, which I was never a big Buffy fan. I was
the other Nathan Fillion ones that I haven't seen.
Firefly?
We're gonna get emails about.
Probably.
And that's what we're talking about. Why are people so defensive about those shows?
Well, you're allowed. I mean, you're allowed to be. You're allowed to be defensive about whatever the fuck you want. But the bottom line is,
cult. Yeah.
The one that I think of Joss Whedon for is, now to be fair, he did write Toy Story.
The original?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I will give him credit for that.
Wow. Okay.
But as of recently,
no, he's good. It's not like
we're... Well, no. As of recently, screenplay for Justice League. We haven't seen it yet, but I'm gauging it based off.
He's not the only credit for that, though. Right?
For Toy Story?
No, for Justice League.
No.
Yeah.
Avengers, Age of Ultron. Neither of which I mean they were entertaining, but they're not.
The first groundbreaking movie was yeah.
Well, the thing is, I think like we talked about before. I think the first. In The Cabin in the Woods, which I do like. But I think, again, was overhyped and overrated. I enjoy it, but I don't think it's this, like, groundbreaking, amazing horror movie that, like, I was hoping it would be. I was hoping it would be fucking just, like...
I thought it was great.
Yeah, but I mean, how many times have you gone back and watched it?
Like 4.
Oh, okay. Well, I've watched it the once and a half, and that's it. Okay. I've been like, all right, it's not for me.
Well, it's not, like... Yeah, it's not amazing, but it's a good movie.
Well, you watched it 4 fucking times. I mean, that's a pretty good fucking recommendation. 4 times is a lot. It's
sure,
like 8 hours of your life.
I watched Inception like 8 times.
And Inception is better than Cabin in the Woods.
Well, no, I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying like, but it's not amazing either. That's the problem. Is
Inception? I thought Inception was great.
Oh, of course it was. No. Yeah, it is.
Okay, well, you just said it wasn't great either. I'm like, no, Inception was amazing.
No, I didn't say. Okay, let me just say this. Let me say this. There's a tendency. And we were going to talk about Rotten Tomatoes. We're getting there, but there's a tendency to like either want to give something 5 or 1 star. Like there's a tendency to like Netflix adding. Remember we got angry about the thumbs up and thumbs down when they changed it to that. And I was like, what? Not every movie is going to be a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's going to be like they're 3, 4, or 2 stars movies.
Yep.
There's a reason why we have 5 stars. And Rotten Tomatoes even has, like, you can put half a star.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe that's why they went to the plus and minus, because so many people were either just doing 5 or 1.
But that's what's so stupid is people. I don't like.
Wow, I didn't realize like, this is a topic we totally could have just ran with. Because now that you're saying that, I'm getting really mad about it too.
I know. I hate the idea that people either just like want to absolutely love a movie and defend it to their grave, or they want to like trash it and shit on it until it dies. It's like what there are average movies, there are pretty good movies, there are good movies, there are great movies, there are incredible movies, and there are really, really, really bad movies. Like I don't judge each movie as either really, really good or really, really bad. And I don't understand people who do.
Fair enough. I'd say Avengers was like a 3 stars, 2.5. It was good. It was entertaining. At the time, I was really excited to see all these characters together. But then when I sat back, like afterwards, I'm like, what did I get from that? Visual spectacle, which is funny because like if you're Michael Bay and you do visual spectacle, people mock you incessantly. But if you are Joss Whedon and you do visual spectacle, it's like, well, it's got some great one-liners. It's still just. And it's just eye candy. Yeah. It's just eye candy.
Yeah.
So anyway, the bottom line was to go back to what our original point was Joss Whedon took over for Zack Snyder.
And I have a segue. So people tend to enjoy movies the more they care about them. Like I probably care about Marvel characters more than you do, and I've seen way more of the Marvel movies than you have. So I generally enjoy them more just because I care a little bit more than you do. And when we talked about Star Wars with that,
well, see, I think you may be reaching a little. Like if you looked at my comics when I was a kid, like the comics that I actually collected, almost all Marvel except for Batman. Like I actually
Okay.
had Venom comics and Spider-Man comics, and I had X-Men comics. X-Men was my favorite when I was a kid. Like
Yeah.
so I grew up with the X-Men cartoon, which was
Yeah.
fucking shit. I think what happened is the first Thor happened, and I thought it was all right. And the second Thor I never watched. The first Captain America movie bored me. Like I literally was really bored by
it
it.
was bad.
So, and the thing is I've given most of them a shot. It's just whether or not like they've won me over enough to go, okay, I want to keep investing time and money into these characters. Whereas I've seen both Avengers movies. I've seen all 3 Iron Man movies. I think I saw all 3 Iron Man movies in the theater. I haven't seen the newer Spider-Man, but I mean, how many times am I supposed to care about them rebooting the same character? I mean, it's the 3rd reboot since I was 17. Like,
Well,
it's
I thought the
fucking
new
crazy.
Spider-Man was the best Spider-Man since Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to watching it at home.
Yeah.
But I mean, everybody told me the Amazing Spider-Man, the one with Andrew Garfield, was great.
That was
Everybody's-
awful.
But people got excited about it. They said it was
That's
good
the
right
thing.
after seeing it, and then they go back and go, well,
That's the
actually,
thing.
really wasn't that great.
So there's hype plays into it a lot.
Yep.
And investing your money, like wanting to see it on like someone who goes in and like spends $20 to see it in IMAX like Thursday night and like camps out after work is gonna be more inclined to say that they like it because of how much effort they put into
Yeah.
seeing it than someone who just like sees it on Sunday
Well,
morning.
it's a stupid thing, but people don't want to admit that they wasted their time on something awful.
Exactly.
People don't want to do that. They immediately want to go, the thing that I put all this time and effort into was great. If you were to be like, hey, you waited 8 hours in line to see that movie, how was it? Oh, it was shitty. Why'd you do that? That people like
Like
feel
the
some sort of
people in
weird
Phantom
shame.
Menace.
Yeah, they like. Well, it's like we talked about last week about fucking Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
I'll never get that chunk of my life back.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, it's still a fun story. Like I wasted a bunch of time, but I had some fun things happen while we were waiting there.
Right.
I mean, I would have seen that Jeff fight if it wasn't for me waiting in line for Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Now I could have done other better things with my time, but I think it's funny. Like when you expect the movie to be great and it's not, it's really disappointing. But it's also kind of a funny story.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll tell you though, there's a few exceptions. Like if it had been terrible, the movie had
That
been
would've been
terrible,
really
I would have cried.
disappointing.
I would have wept.
But we went into it knowing, okay, so I'm going to like bring us back around. We went into it knowing it was already at like 90 something percent. And we were like, wow, so the critics do like it. And the few people have seen like early screenings, they really liked it. So we were hopeful.
Yeah.
We knew we weren't going to be that disappointed if we were.
Yeah.
And we weren't. But so Rotten Tomatoes, what happened is when that trailer came out and Carlos said it was going to be good, I said it was going to be a pile of shit. We made a bet that if it was over 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, I would have to send him a case of beer, and if it was under 60%, he would have to send me a case of beer.
Yeah. And I said the day you made the bet, I was like, Gary's going to win, not by a little, but by a whole lot. And you won
It's
by...
probably going to be about half 60%. It's probably like 32.
It's at
by now.
35 right now.
Yeah, it's
35.
probably going to end up around a solid 33, 32 maybe.
That's bad. Like
Yeah.
whether or not you
Batman
like Rotten
vs. Superman
Tomatoes,
is
whether or not you like Rotten Tomatoes as a
so that's
thing,
what that's the other thing I was going to talk about. Well, first of all, Rotten Tomatoes did not. Okay, well, let me back up. Warner Brothers didn't made it so that the score wouldn't come out sooner to as close as possible to the actual release. And there's been there was a site that made a correlation between how late studios let the score come out and how bad they usually are.
I'm surprised that's such new information. The embargoes that they do on these things
makes
are
sense.
they usually if it's a comedy and you don't see the score 2 weeks before, it's probably going to be a shitty movie.
Yeah, like The House or...
Yeah, The House didn't happen till the day of, and it was 11%. I was like,
yeah, it's really low. Which is too bad because Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler would be funny.
Fuck both of them. Jason Mantzoukas is in it.
Oh, yeah, true.
So I almost want to watch it just to see if he has two
What's
or three
up,
funny
jerks?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that, and so it didn't come out until eventually Thursday, I think.
Yeah.
The day of people going to see it.
Yeah.
And Rotten Tomatoes made it so that you couldn't see the score when it initially came out, I think for the first 6 or 12 hours.
Yeah.
Unless you go to their Facebook show and watch their Facebook show and watch the score come up on a half hour
as it's going in
into the show.
Well, I didn't care enough about the movie to do that. You had beer writing on it.
Well, yeah, but I just skipped forward through all the bullshit. So basically, if you don't know about this show, and yes, you heard me correctly, Facebook show.
Yeah.
It's a show on Facebook
course.
exclusively, not YouTube, Facebook. And it's called See It, Skip It, not See It or Skip It. See It, Skip It.
Is there a slash?
I guess.
See it slash skip it?
I don't know.
Hey, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. It's got to make some sense, right?
It's these. I'm trying to make sense of it. It's these two hosts. One is like, I guess, more of a snob about movies, and one is more like lenient and just like likes to have fun. I guess that's the two angles they're going for. Which, first of all, is stupid because that's like a polarizing, divisive, like two different stances to take on.
I really like
movies,
your
and it's
acting.
very
I don't care about acting.
Yeah,
Like,
it's very simplistic and like overly dumbed down.
The script was really good. Yeah, but there were trees in it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's basically the show. That's basically the fucking show. It's like her going like, I knew this was going to be bad because of Zack Snyder, and him going like, but I like Zack Snyder because he's fun and entertaining.
Is he the casual moviegoer?
Yeah.
So she's like the real critic, and he's like
she's like the real critic. He's the casual moviegoer. I guess they represent the critic.
I like movies about dogs. Dogs are great. I'm like, oh god.
So anyway, they do this whole countdown thing, like it's like New Year's, to like see the fucking score for Justice League, and I'm like,
kidnapping you to make you.
They're making you watch their Facebook video to get ad revenue for Facebook and their company, and it's like fuck you. We looked it up. Rotten Tomatoes is owned by Fandango, which is owned by Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
like Warner Brothers basically owns 30%. The company that made the movie owns 30% of the company
which is probably why they got zero pushback on the review embargo.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So there's that, and then. Yeah, fuck you, Rotten Tomatoes. That's basically.
The thing is, though, is upset as people get at Rotten Tomatoes for stuff. It's still the first site that I go to.
It is.
And I don't hold it to any, I think we talked about this once before. I don't hold movies to any standard based off what Rotten Tomatoes says, but it gives me a good idea for what my expectation should be. If it gives me a 20%, I go in with low expectations. Yeah. I may still enjoy the movie. And the great part is if I go in expecting it to be a 20% movie and it's a 40% movie, I've already doubled my expectations.
Yeah.
You know, we went and saw, I took my wife to see Bad Moms Christmas, which got really bad reviews, right? We enjoyed the first one. It wasn't the greatest movie ever, but it was fun.
That didn't even come that long ago, did it?
It was a year or two ago, year and a half ago.
Sequel to a comedy within a couple of years.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I mean,
crazy.
you gotta capitalize on it, especially when you have three leads like that. I mean, it was like the girl version of, it was the female version of The Hangover, more or less.
Kristen Bell, Mila Kunis, and who's the third one?
Catherine Hahn. Who all three of them I like. Catherine Hahn is fucking hilarious.
It sounds like the horrible bosses of females.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess you could do Bridesmaids was more or less The Hangover, but Bridesmaids was a lot more serious than people expected it to be. I think there was a lot more like real drama. It wasn't just like with this one. It was more like slapsticky, like funny, silly. But it was a Christmas movie. And so I went into it with these really low expectations. And I basically, when I go see a movie like that, I go, if it can make me laugh out loud 2 or 3 times, I'm happy.
Yeah.
You know, if I spend $10-12 and I laugh a few times, hey, whatever.
Sure.
I laughed a lot more than a few times. Catherine Hahn was funny as usual. And all three girls are fun to watch. Kristen Bell and Mila Kunis are, you know, I actually think Catherine Hahn's good looking too, but she's good looking in like a different kind of way.
Yeah,
it's almost like
she's
her
more of like a woman.
Yeah, she's like and it's like her confidence and who she is what makes her attractive.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas Mila Kunis and Kristen Bell are like it's like the two parts of the Neapolitan ice cream. It's like brunette, blonde, both just delicious.
Yeah.
And I can say that because my wife loves them both. But we went into expecting it to be mediocre, and we had a really good time. So people get really caught up in this, like, oh, what does the reviews say? Oh, review was too low, and it's like, yeah, but that actually helps you. Like, it helps you when the reviews are low. That being said, am I going to spend 150 minutes at Justice League? No. I think if you were going to go see that movie, you're going to go see it regardless of what the critics said.
Or more than like $4.
Like if you had like a Groupon for free tickets, then maybe.
So I think people like they put too much they tend to over make they tend to make Rotten Tomatoes scores like this holy number when it's really just like you were saying, like that's where I'll set my expectations basically. Like if it's going to be in the 90, I'll expect it to be a pretty good movie. If it's low, I'll expect it to be bad, and I probably won't see it. So yeah, we saw Blade Runner yesterday.
Yeah, how was that?
I'm so glad I saw that in the theater.
Yeah,
because it's like we went into an older theater, and I was hoping it wasn't a bad sound system, but thankfully it was really good. And the low end in that movie, especially with the Hans Zimmer did the score with the guy who did the score to It, actually, and they did a really good job. And yeah, it should definitely be nominated for sound mixing and special effects, because the special effects are obviously really good.
Yeah.
And Harrison Ford actually, like, there was a lot more dramatic weight to that character than I expected. And he did a really good job. Like, it was like Star Wars kind of was like a phone in kind of just like, here I am, I'm Han again, just like Indiana Jones 4 basically.
I won't watch that. I just have no desire.
You still haven't seen that?
Nope.
Wow.
Indiana Jones was a huge part of my childhood, and I don't need Shia LaBeouf and Harrison just taking a big steaming shit on my childhood.
Turn up the beef.
Exactly.
Yeah. Turn up the beef. That's a very deep cut. We're not going to explain it. If you get it, you get it. What were we talking about? Yeah. Harrison Ford, actually, it was one of like the most dramatic performances I've seen from him in a while, and it was really good.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ryan Gosling.
I haven't really. Has Harrison Ford been in a lot lately?
No.
I don't feel like he's been in much in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was good. I don't know where I was going with that. It got like a 90 something, and I expected it to be good, and it was actually a little bit better than I even expected.
I'd like to see it. I think my next movie in the theater is gonna be 3 Billboards. Also getting really good reviews.
Yeah.
But this kind of goes back to what you were saying. I have like this, like, I'm a pretty loyal person, and I have this like weird loyalty to the director and the writer of the movie, Martin McDonagh. He's the guy who did In Bruges and Seven Psychopaths.
Yeah.
And I think the first time I saw Seven Psychopaths, I liked it, but I needed to watch it a couple more times to really like.
I haven't seen it again yet.
It's a great fucking movie. Like when I went back to watch it, I was like, this is a great fucking movie. But In Bruges, basically, in my opinion, turned Colin Farrell's career around. Like
that's definitely top 10 for me.
In Bruges is one of my favorite of all time. Like it just is a great movie. And the thing is, I can watch it whenever. Like the weird thing is, though, is I feel like I should be watching it near Christmas. Like I know it's not a Christmas movie, but like I feel like I should be watching it around Christmas. It's really strange.
Yeah, that and Die Hard and yeah.
Oh, by the way, off camera here, off podcast, we do have the Die Hard collection because you bought it for me a year or two ago, and Serena now wants to make sure that we watch at least the first one together. But as we get into the holidays here, we were just talking about Christmas.
Nice segue.
I have them from time to time.
I just want to leave all of that off with Justice League is a steaming pile of shit, and we're not going to see it until it comes out.
I almost feel like we should have to go see it now.
And I'm just looking forward to.
You should get the beer that Carlos sends you, drink it, and go see it.
No. I told him I'm gonna pop in the Avengers and drink that beer.
Jesus Christ. So actually, really quick, now that we're on, God damn it. I promised on the podcast that I'd go see Star Wars, right? And so we're going to go see Last Jedi when it comes out. I just found out 2.5 fucking hours long.
The longest Star Wars movie to date.
So there's going to be a lot of like melodrama and looking out at like the several moons of whatever planet of Mordor or whatever the fuck's going on in the background.
Speaking of which, I just recently heard that WB literally put like a time cap on Justice League. They didn't want it to be over 2 hours. Did you hear that?
No.
Yeah. I was surprised because like they realized, I guess people don't want to see 2.5 hours of filler.
They don't want to see 2 hours of dark, mumbled, jumbled fucking action where you can't make out who's hitting who.
Yeah. After
shocking.
Both like Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman were easily 240, and I'm sure Suicide Squad was like 220. So it's like, yeah.
I think Wonder Woman was decently long, but I really enjoyed it. So. Hey guys, just a quick break to give you a word from our sponsor, wearedappertize.com. We Are Dappertize is a company created by brothers Andrew and Julian, who believe that feeling and looking great should be an affordable right for all. So whether you're wearing a suit and tie daily, heading to your first interview, or you just like to look good, you need a dapper tie. We actually got our hands on some dapper ties. Yeah, I got myself a nice gray one. I'll be wearing to work. This is some quality stuff here, dude. Like, this is a fucking nice tie.
It's well made.
Just to give you guys a little bit of people that wear a lot of ties, there's a little bit of a break in between the side of the tie that you tie from the short side of the long tie, so it stays flat against your collar.
Yeah.
So for me, what tends to happen a lot is I get that curling up around my collar where the tie twists as I'm tying it, and it's frustrating as balls.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to make it a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
I think I may actually just put it on right after the shower tomorrow and look at myself naked.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. It's like you're pretend you're in a Chippendales or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew and Julian have carefully curated beautiful designs to offer you a selection of knitted, elegant, unique, and affordable ties. Go to weareadapperties.com and enter the promo code ANGRY to get free shipping on all your orders all over the U.S. Again, go to weareadapperties.com and enter the promo code ANGRY. We Are Dapper Ties. Smart, affordable fashion.
So as we were talking about holidays, Christmas is coming.
Yeah.
We touched on that a little bit before. Thanksgiving's this week. So
Yes,
if you're listening today, if you're listening on Monday, you're 3 days away from Thanksgiving.
3-day week. Yeah.
3-day week, exactly. I have a 4-day weekend coming up. If I can fight off this fucking cold, it'll be great.
Yeah.
My daughter's already like, hey, can we put up Santa stuff and Christmas decorations? I'm like, holy shit.
Christmas lights are on outside right now.
Right? That being said, we thought it'd be fun this week to talk about things we're thankful for. Like things we're thankful for, and maybe talk about things that people aren't thankful for. And how we feel about that. And it's funny that you said, as you were talking about the reviews, you were talking about how people go 1 or 5 stars. And actually really made me think that is a very easy example of how grateful or ungrateful people can be about the dumbest of shit. Mm-hmm. Because whenever I think of star reviews, the first thing that pops into my head is Yelp. And most people that use Yelp, at least like that I've seen, are fucking, yes, they're either way too complimentary or they're just gigantic fucking assholes.
Yeah.
And so you'll go somewhere and you'll be like, oh, and the thing is, I challenge anybody listening to the podcast right now, find your favorite restaurant, look it up on Yelp, and I guarantee you will find a review from someone who's a fucking dumbass who commented about something just ridiculous that has nothing to do with the quality of the food or the service. That'll be something dumb.
I think people just don't have taste. They don't know how to like discern what's good or what's
Jesus
bad
Christ.
or what's mediocre.
That is such a gigantic fucking statement, though.
No, I know.
No, I know. I'm not.
I know it is, and I'm a fucking jackass for saying it. I know.
But it's fucking true, though.
It is.
That's more.
People don't know how to discern what's good, what's bad, and what's mediocre. People don't understand mediocrity.
What's good, what's bad, and what's different than their preference.
Yeah.
Because your preference is one thing doesn't make something bad.
Yeah,
it's like
it's that falafel place was fucking awful. I thought I was getting like Mediterranean and it was like Czechoslovakian or something.
The fuck was that?
I don't know. Well, no, I feel like people go into like international places and like rate it like.
Oh well, yeah. I think people
actually authentic. They wanted Americanized like falafels.
That happens a lot with Chinese food. I've noticed, like when you go to Chinese restaurants
there
on Yelp,
wasn't enough MSG in it.
Hey, dude, you sprinkle MSG all over my shit. It's delicious. No, people do that though. They'll be like, "Oh, I went there expecting, and all they had was like real Chinese food, and I wanted da da da." Or there'll be people on there like you'll see an Asian person comment on a Chinese place, somebody who grew up in China, and they'll be like, "This is not what I grew up eating," and I'm like, the reviewer
you're in
like,
America.
Yeah, but I'll go on there and be like, "Oh, so it's like white people Chinese food?" So it'll be like really shiny and neon and delicious. Okay,
Yeah.
So because sometimes I want that like traditional flair, and then sometimes I'll want like like when you want Mexican food, like there's a difference between real Mexican food and white people Americanized versions, and they're both good.
And the funny thing is that there's it goes both ways because there are some like authentic foods that are like not as good as the Americanized version, and there's some Americanized versions that are not as good as authentic.
Oh, of course,
it goes both ways.
It's like when people want to get like real Italian pizza, and then they're surprised that it's not.
Yeah,
it's not pepperoni and all of it. And like, what is this? Like, you mean like a margarita pizza? That's not.
What is it? Like it.
The sauce is different, and the dough is usually a little different. But most, like if you go like to like most Italian places, it's going to be something like a margarita pizza. You're not going to get a combo from Domino's style pizza.
Well, yeah, they didn't like throw everything in their kitchen.
Every
on it.
fat American item on their pizza. Yes. But yeah, so I'm thinking about it, and I go that's it. Just shows how ungrateful people can be and how grateful people can be from the smallest of things. You can have someone who gives something a terrible review because of they were so busy and my server was da-da-da and she was real. It's like, well, if somebody's really busy and you walked in at 8:58 and they close at 9, and they're too busy to help you, or there's 10 other customers and there's one server, like take that into consideration before you just like blast this person on fucking social media.
Be grateful for that they let you in.
Even let you in. Yeah, like we have a rule in our house that like we won't go to a restaurant, like go sit at a restaurant if it's within the last half an hour closing.
Yeah, I was going to say half an hour. Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Funny thing though is as sick as I am right now, my wife is equally sick. Both girls have been sick this week. We called an urgent care the other day to see if Serena could get in. It was 7:50, 7:48, and they closed at 8. And so I called, and I'm like, hey, do you guys take this insurance? And they said, yeah. And I said, hey, if we were, because we live like 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, if we were there in the next couple minutes, could my wife be seen? Well, we close in 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, well, could my wife be seen if we're there before you close? Because I'm thinking to myself, this is urgent care. This is medical.
Yeah.
Somebody's ill.
Yeah.
Would you? And the woman's like making excuses on the phone for why we shouldn't come in. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you work in the medical industry. You work in helping people feel better. This isn't, hey, can you make me a burrito 2 minutes before closing? It's like, hey, this person's sick and needs your help. And it was just really weird to get so much. So we didn't bother them. My wife went in the next day, but it was just really weird to have someone like, I don't know. I feel like if you work in the medical profession and you get impatient with people being sick or needing your help, it's kind of I don't know. It kind of makes you fucky in my brain.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have an opinion about it because I don't know.
All right. That's fun.
No, I was going to say, like, I don't have an experience. I mean, I wouldn't be able to speak for anyone working in the medical industry because I might think that, like, they just get desensitized to it. Like, they just see sick people all the time. So what's another sick person? I'm turning you away. No big deal. Like,
yeah.
It might be that.
To turn you away.
But I don't want to say that because then it's going to, like, be like,
no, that person could go die and it's true. It's perfectly okay.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
But the thing is, the fact that I even asked, like, if somebody asked me, like, you know what I do? I work in retail-ish.
Yeah.
And if they said, hey, I know you guys are closing soon, would I be able to come in and get some help? If somebody's actually asking and is kind enough to, like, consider my feelings and go, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. Come on in. I'll even say, we'll make it quick. Yeah, if we can come in and we can make it a quick thing, then sure.
Yeah.
Kind of like we'll every once in a while we'll crave like Red Robin. We're just wanting a chicken sandwich from Red Robin. And I'm like, I'm not gonna go sit in there, but I'll call them like, can you guys are closing soon? Would it be possible to order something to go?
Yeah.
And if they go, I'll be like, don't worry about it. But if they go, yeah, it's totally cool, then I'm cool with that. And that's I don't know. We've kind of drifted off into another fucking weird area.
Well, yeah. So we're talking about people being grateful. But what I've also noticed recently is a lot of people saying people aren't being grateful for things. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, what we're doing right now, but in a different way, like people
in a worse way, in a way that we didn't do on our podcast,
in a stupid way that we'd never even imagine, doing.
Never.
No.
All right.
I'm gonna gather my thoughts about this. We've talked about like privilege before, how privilege is such a big thing that people focus on now. And I feel
it's a thing people with way too much time on their hand spend too much time thinking about. In my opinion, I think if you're going out of your way to dictate and determine how much privilege someone else has,
but it's also a false sense of social
awareness.
Not awareness, but like activism. Like
it's virtue signaling, dude.
Like apparently, if you spread the idea that some people are privileged more than others, which is a truth that everyone fucking knows inherently.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to be told that we're privileged to know we're privileged.
Well, yeah, but it's like if you're gonna go there, acknowledge that living here in America, you're automatically plus 10 over pretty much anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
So acknowledge that we've all started a kind of a privileged thing.
I don't
like, but it's that virtual signaling thing. Is that people like to say, "Oh, I feel so bad for this group, and I feel so bad for them. Look at how good I am." That's all it is.
It's like liberals, Liberals,
of course. But it's always whenever you're pointing at someone else and telling them how much privilege they have, it's you trying to make yourself look good for pointing out somebody else's fucking issues or socio-political bullshit.
And there's nothing wrong with wanting like to help people and like have people get out of like terrible situations. Like, okay,
you're right.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's stupid to spend your energy going like, you're not grateful for your life. You should be like, you should check your privilege. You should know like that you're lucky. And it's like, well, why? Like, why do I need to wake up every day and go, I am so grateful I live in America. It's like, no, I was born here. Yeah, I was lucky and I'm just going to live my life now. Like I have
now to your point there is nothing wrong with waking up and being grateful for things.
no, I'm not saying there's anything wrong.
Of course
with
not. Of course not. But what I'm saying is if you wake up and you go out of your way to be a whiny bitch about things when you are forgetting that you're this lucky.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about this before. We've talked about our cell phones, right? We've talked about like, it's breaking. I don't know which phone to get.
Yeah.
Oh, this is such a serious problem. I acknowledge right away it's a first world problem. And that's me making fun of myself and going, hey, look, this is a stupid fucking problem. This isn't a real problem.
Yeah.
I acknowledge that the reason I'm able to have these kind of problems is because I live where I live. I am where I am. And if people want to go, oh, it's because you're a white male, fucking whatever, dude. I can't give away my penis or my skin color. That's not something I can do, right? I'm not gonna. So I just assume any conversation I start out with starts with the preposition of, hey, I'm aware that I'm lucky, but this sucks. Or I'm a lucky, but I'm still allowed to complain about things. Like that's the part of this podcast is we're allowed to complain about whatever the fuck you want. Now, at the same time, I'm also able to give you shit for complaining about whatever the fuck you want to complain about.
Yeah.
If you complain because your car gets 26 miles to the gallon or 18 miles to the gallon because you chose a goddamn turbo, I can give you shit for driving a goddamn turbo.
Yeah.
The thing is what you're talking about, those type of people, now you're not allowed to criticize, but they're allowed to criticize other people for not being grateful for things. But if you were to criticize them for anything, it's like, oh, don't shame me.
Yeah.
You're shaming me.
Well, it's like you can't complain and be grateful at the same time.
Yeah.
Like what?
As if it would be crazy to have like the dichotomy of man, like the two-sidedness of people. It's exactly what we live our everyday lives doing.
It's like I can't walk into work and be depressed, but like smile to the person.
You know, it's even simpler than that.
Time.
I can break it down even easier than that. It's like complaining about having to go to work. Am I grateful I have a job? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Am I grateful that I can put a roof over my kids' head and feed them? Absolutely. Does that mean I'm not able to get up one morning and go, I don't want to go to fucking work. I don't want to deal with customers today.
Yeah.
Absolutely you can.
Yeah.
But there's that particular type of person that's like, oh, hey, you should be grateful that you have a job. There are people, this is the best voice I can do with my voice all fucked up. Don't look at me like that.
Well, happy Thanksgiving. Be thankful for what you have.
Wow. Good job, Charlie Brown.
It's more of the Linus
Where
thing.
are we at right now on time anyway? Where are we?
41 minutes.
We're gonna talk a little bit more about this before we cut out.
About what?
About the Thanksgiving thing. About a little bit more.
Okay.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
I will eventually talk about things that I'm grateful for. I'm very grateful that I haven't heard anybody talk about the slaughter of Native Americans yet. I mean, we're less than a week away, and we made a joke about that not too long ago. It's coming, I'm sure. But I'm grateful that we're so preoccupied with sexual assaults in politics right now that we're able to just leave Thanksgiving alone for a few more days. And because we're talking so much about, I mean, we've shifted. We were talking about this earlier, from Hollywood to politics now and the sexual assault. This is not a laughing matter. I'm not making fun of the sexual assault itself. It's everywhere. It's fucking everywhere. Like it's somebody's touching somebody.
Comical. What the comical part is it's the country apparently. No, I'm going to say the media is acting as if it is a new issue.
Yeah,
like that it hasn't been happening since the dawn of man.
Of course.
Like, and that, like, I saw something like recently, like there was a poll on MSNBC that was like 40% of staffers on the Hill, like in DC, have said that they've experienced sexual misconduct or assault. And it's like, well, okay, why not just say, like, poll all American women? Like, why does it have to be just?
But see, that's the funny thing. Hill. You say that though. Why is it only women?
Well, yeah, I knew you'd say that.
No, but it's the truth. It's a true thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that women experience it more than men do. I know they do.
By a lot, yeah.
Sure. But my point is it shouldn't matter.
No, it
male or female.
No, it shouldn't. But my point was that it's stupid that, like, why just focus on DC? Why focus on Hollywood? Like you were saying when that poll came up, you were saying they're going to go to like every industry now.
Yeah.
Like, they're just going to run Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, apparently a bunch of nurses in hospitals.
Yes.
Yeah, this apparently a bunch of people in corporate America.
The other
Like,
big one was
no fucking shit. Yeah,
housekeepers
it's
at
a problem.
hotels. That's the other big one right now.
Yeah, yeah.
They get it worse than at the moment. They're the signal. They're the flag bearer for who gets it the worst.
Yeah.
My point isn't that I want to dilute how bad it happens to women by focusing on men. That's not my point. My point is if we the first thing that I think of when I get into these sexual misconducts, I heard Bill Burr was talking about it as well. Joe Rogan was talking about it. It's everywhere now. Like all the podcasts I listen to, they're happy to talk about it because it's fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
It's an important topic. It's something we need to get rid of. Absolutely. First and foremost, let me get that out there because it needs to be said. Secondly, am I number two? Anyway, when we talk about sexual conduct, misconduct, assault, my question is where's the line? Like, what's the base, the 0 to 1% that we're considering sexual assault? Are we considering it if somebody whistles at you? Is that considered sexual assault?
Well, okay, so sexual is the adjective and assault is the noun, right?
Okay.
Well, assault is a verb, but you get what I'm saying. Sexual is like the descriptor and assault. Okay, so
and it doesn't have to be assault. A lot of misconduct is the word we're using a lot right now.
When you hear assault without sexual, when you just hear like assault, like they were charged with assault.
Yeah.
What I imagine is violent, like forceful, like offensive action towards someone.
Yeah.
Like a punch in the face.
Well, see, that's the thing is that's a great point that you make.
Not just like saying like you can't. There's no such thing as verbal assault.
Yes, there is. That's the thing. No, but that's where we are.
Okay,
but that's my point that you say assault that way, right? Like from my understanding now, from where we are now, assault can be as much as you yelling at someone or saying enough things to them in a negative way that threatens their person.
So
that can be assault. Because
now
you're thinking of is battery. Battery is when you actually strike someone, right?
Okay.
So, but as we've talked about previously, I don't know if we've gotten into too much on this podcast, but people like to say those words, those microaggressions now.
Yeah.
Those can be considered assault. Like if you say something that's upsetting enough to someone, you're attacking me.
People need to get their vernacular fucking straight.
You're
diluting every fucking term by putting them all in one pool.
And that's what my point is. That's what that's why I'm asking. If we're going, what's the 0 to 1%? If we're saying that you walk, if some girl walks by you and you stare at her ass and she turns around and sees you stare at her ass, is that sexual harassment?
Wow. If that's sexual harassment, then
everybody's guilty.
Yeah. I don't fucking know where.
But that's my point. I don't know at this point, and I'm not trying to make light of it. I genuinely, seriously, when people, because the thing is, it shifted from sexual assault to sexual misconduct. That's the word we're seeing more than anything else. Because anything can be considered misconduct if you don't like what's being done to you.
So what is sexual conduct? If that's misconduct, then what
conduct
is conduct?
Is how you do something, right?
No. Conduct is like how you should behave. Yeah. So misconduct is like you shouldn't be doing that, obviously. But like,
Weinstein jerking off into a plant, misconduct. Got it. Him holding a girl against her will in a room, assault. Kidnapping, whatever.
Yeah.
Louis C.K. jerking off in front of a woman, sexual misconduct. There's no touching there, but it's still misconduct.
Yeah.
Are we saying if you slap someone on the ass, is that now sexual assault, sexual misconduct, sexual harassment? And my question is if we're saying this 40%, are we saying that they are all experiencing someone whipping their dong out? Or is it as simple as somebody going, "Hey, Toots, you look great in that sweater"?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm genuinely interested in this.
What we need is like an America as a whole needs like an HR department. Like we need like the media and everyone needs to defer to one like organization that will define these terms very specifically. And
but
like,
which group's going to dictate
so that?
Honestly,
no,
because if you're a right winger,
that's the cynical. That's where my cynical side comes in. And
let's
goes,
do it. Me and you will do it.
It's never going to happen.
Because this is why. Because if you're a right winger and a guy kisses another guy, you feel that's sexual assault against you, right? They're throwing their gay sex in my face. I don't like it. Like people generally do that, and I don't know why.
You're like not even involved. Like you're just
like it happens.
It. Yeah.
Yes, I mean I have family members that we can watch shows, we can watch movies with violence, blood, and guts, people getting shot. If a titty pops up on screen, it's a titty. That genuinely happens.
Yeah.
Then you have people super far on the left that that are like, oh, I don't like religion being thrown in my face. I don't like this. So if somebody says, thank God for that, or God helped me do this, they're like, fucking Christian, what the fuck? Like, what, God had nothing to do with that. I don't know why I went back to the right.
That's not
voice.
the right.
Still,
it's not the right accent for
I
that.
don't really think that God had anything to do with that. I don't really appreciate you throwing God in my face. So like, if you could like not do that, that'd be great.
That sounds insulting to liberals.
I'm insulting everyone. My point is that we're at a time now where everybody's allowed to dictate what is considered assault or misconduct in their own brain.
People aren't.
We have gone way off base, but this is fun.
We're still somewhere.
Well, I'm grateful that nobody has said that I sexually assaulted them by looking at their butt. I'm grateful for that.
Okay, so let's actually let's do this. Let's I'm tearing off a page of the Notebook. Let's fucking the Notebook. Ryan Gosling sexual assaulted Rachel McAdams. I don't know.
Did he? I don't remember. I've only seen it once.
No, I don't know.
Well, she does have Alzheimer's and she can't remember. So maybe he does.
Yeah, exactly.
If he's touched her and she can't remember it.
Okay.
No, hold on. I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast.
Okay.
And I was they were talking about this topic. They were talking about how rape, right? And they were talking about how serious rape is. I like when you say that word rape. It's like, whoa. It's like this huge word, right? Rape.
It's a big deal. Like a curse word.
It is
at this point.
It is.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. I am not making light about rape at all.
We're not making light about any of this stuff.
That should be clear.
Yeah.
If you're listening, this is episode 34. If you've listened to the previous 33 episodes, you know where we're at.
Yeah.
They were talking about how certain people are now taking. So when I grew up, or my understanding of rape is someone that has sex with someone without their permission. That's what I think of as rape, right?
Yeah.
If you drug them and have sex with them without their permission, rape.
Yeah.
If you get someone drunk and they agree to have sex with you, but you're sober and they're drunk, I can understand that could be considering date rape. I can consider that, especially if you intentionally got them drunk with the purpose of having sex.
Yeah.
Where the line starts to blur is if you're drunk and they're drunk and you agree to have sex,
then they decide afterwards.
And that's exactly it. There are people going out now saying, if you had sex with someone and later wish that you hadn't, they're considering that rape. And the funny part is Joe Rogan literally goes, if that's the case, then every guy has been raped. Because every guy has had sex had sex in their life where they look back and like, fuck, I should not have done that.
Yeah.
And every woman probably has too. There's probably a guy they slept with who like, oh, why did I let that guy touch me?
Probably more women than
men. No, dude, guys tend to like, so girl, this is touchy subject.
Wait,
guys
are you
tend
saying
to
more men regret having sex with women than women regret with men?
I think more often than not, guys will have sex with women they probably normally wouldn't want to have sex with while drunk or horny or 3 a.m. at the bar.
The other way around.
No, I think girls are more selective about who they have sex with. They get to say.
They are, but I don't know.
No, have you heard beer goggles?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know too many girls who go around complaining about getting beer goggles and getting drunk and then letting some guy do them. Usually it's some guy who's like, well, I couldn't get anybody at the bar, and at last call, this chick that, okay. Now, this may be insensitive, but it's a truthful thing.
This is off topic.
But the thing is I know plenty of guys that have been like, I remember one specifically, when we lived in Aliso Viejo, I was there with my roommates, and one of the guys brought a girl home. And normally when he brings a girl home from the bar, they'll come up, they'll have a drink in the living room, whatever.
Yeah.
But they scooted right up the stairs, like real quick. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, what the fuck? Was he up there with a girl? And then she comes back down, and I'm not going to be insensitive. She was not attractive. But we're like, hey, how come?
Fact, yeah.
Yeah. She leaves, and he comes back down, and he's like, I don't know. I'm like, what happened? And he goes, I don't know. Why'd you bring her home? He goes, I don't know. And I could tell he was just embarrassed because of who he brought home. He wasn't proud of the situation. Now, should that person be able to say, I was raped? Fuck no.
No.
Fuck no, dude.
No.
And
that's the problem with a lot of this is that it's not just like your car was stolen and like you just like you go to your driveway and it's not there anymore. Like that's just a concrete thing that happened.
Yeah.
And like you can just say I'm gonna charge that person with stealing my fucking car.
Yeah.
But with all of what we're talking about, it's allegations. It's allegations. It's like it's misremembering or remembering. It's like whether you're sober or drunk, and it's like all so fluid and like it's hard to figure out and just not straightforward. And you can't just like treat it like that. You can't just treat it like, oh, this woman said this guy did this thing. Let's, tank the guy's career because
you know what I just thought of, by the way?
That.
I think I get your point about the women thing. What? I bet if you asked most women, there's probably women that have had sex with a guy they regret, and they could be for various reasons, right? Guys don't ever regret having sex, right? Most guys don't regret having sex. They may regret having sex with someone that they were like, "Ooh, that person wasn't very good looking," or "I was too drunk," or
"Okay,
she's my cousin."
Right.
Whereas girls could be like, "Oh, that guy was an asshole."
Wait, what?
You know what I'm saying?
Flew right by. She's my cousin.
Well, I'm saying like, there's guys that are like, "Oh, I banged my stepsister. I probably shouldn't have done that," right? But what I'm saying is, as a woman, you may regret having sex with a guy for a bunch of different reasons. Either he was really lousy, or he was a jerk, or hey, that's what I'm saying. So I get your point more now. Whereas what I was thinking of is for guys, usually the reason they regret it afterwards is because she wasn't good looking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I get your point now, and it makes
As with most things with men versus women,
the layers are more detailed for women.
Exactly.
Yeah. They put more thought into it.
They're onions, as Donkey from Shrek would say. They're onions. There's a lot of layers. Wow. Speaking of deep cuts, that was funny.
Where you quoted Shrek.
Yeah. Oh. I haven't done that in a long time.
Whenever I hear of Donkey,
but you know what they say. Somebody once told me.
Oh God. Just put the L on your forehead. It's funny, whenever I hear Shrek and I hear the donkey, I immediately think of Michael Scott doing the Shrek donkey voice when he's calling Ryan on the cell phone.
Donkey.
I feel like we need to include something on our page. Just be ready to hear some sort of deep cut about The Office, because I feel like we quote Office more than anything else.
Oh yeah.
But he's like, Ryan, it's me. I'm Donkey. I'm Donkey Shrek. And he's like, what the fuck? But to be honest, like to wrap all this up, I know we kind of went way off base.
Yeah, whatever.
It's a Thanksgiving episode. As I look at being a 20-year-old guy, be fucking careful. Like, as a woman, as a father of two girls, I tell women as a whole to be careful. Like, going out in the world right now, people are fucked up.
Yeah.
But as a guy, there are so many more traps. There's so many more things you can get in trouble for that weren't a thing when I was younger. So, I mean, as a 24-year-old now, if you look at just what's changed in the last 5 years, there's a lot of stuff that you're like, holy shit, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
There wasn't Tinder. Facebook wasn't a thing when I was in my early 20s. It like started to be, but it wasn't like a thing people met each other on. There weren't all these fucking various websites and swiping and things like that. And then on top of that, I mean, if you think about what people use Tinder for, it's usually for hookups, right? I mean, some people use it to find a soulmate, but I don't feel like that happens all that often.
Yeah. That's on accident.
People usually do that.
The sex is on purpose. Yeah. The wedding is on accident.
You usually use OkCupid or eHarmony or one of those if you want to find like a partner, you know? So you have this website, which is basically set up.
Yeah.
You have this website set up for people to basically hook up.
Yeah.
But now it's like, if you go hook up with someone who was willing to hook up with you and they regret it later, you could be dealing with this whole world of shit that you didn't even think about.
That's
the part for me that I go
fucking scary.
And that's the part for me where I go, I'm thankful for my wife. Mm-hmm. I'm grateful for my family.
Sure.
And see, I
am grateful that I am single.
You're grateful for your VR goggles.
Thank you for listening to episode 34 of the Unreasonably Angry podcast. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please rate and review us at iTunes or Facebook. We want to hear what you think.
And if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, please shoot us an email to unreasonablyangrypodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, my name is Eric.
And I'm Gary.
Stay angry and enjoy that turkey, fuckers.